Christmas.
So your lady live out here?
About the past 6 months.
Why'd you come with her, man? What's up?
'Cause I'm a New York cop. Can't just pick up and go that easy.
John, I missed you.
You can walk out of here or be carried out, but have no illusions. We are in charge.
Think, damn it, think.
We've got a fire alarm. I thought I told all of you I want radio silence.
Sorry, I didn't get that message.
Mayday, terrorists have seized the Nakatomi Plaza.
This channel is reserved for emergency calls only.
Do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
Possible crane call. Check the area, confirm.
No signs of disturbance, dispatch.
Welcome to the party, pal!
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay.
You hang in there.
Come to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel, and let me start off by saying yippee-ki-yay motherfucker. Yes, we are back with another film review, this time the 1988 action classic Die Hard. The film was directed by John McTiernan, who was an action director at the time. He directed Predator. He's also known for Hunt for Red October, and also directed the third film in this franchise, which was Die Hard with a Vengeance. The film itself stars Bruce Willis, Bonnie Bedelia, and the late great Alan Rickman. Willis stars as a New York police officer who travels to LA to reconcile with his estranged wife on Christmas Eve. He's met by his limo driver Argyle. Argyle drives him to his wife's company's Christmas party. Argyle then drops him off and takes the limo into the underground car park, agrees to wait for him and his wife and give them a great ride home. Now, McClane goes to get change for the party. John McClane is the name of Willis's character in this. At this point, a group of terrorists, as they're set out to be, led by Alan Rickman's character Hans Gruber, take over the building. Now, but I can't sing the praises for Alan Rickman enough in this. Rickman hadn't actually really starred in any films when he made this. Neither had Bruce Willis. Rickman was a Broadway actor and Willis was a TV actor, but more on that a bit later. So yeah, as it goes on, the terrorists take everybody in the building hostage apart from McClane. McClane manages to slip out, although he does slip out barefooted. He kind of causes all sorts of mayhem then, including the LAPD. He has a fight, as you've seen in the trailer, with one of the terrorists and managed to get himself some C4, some guns, and a radio, at which stage he races to the rooftop to alert the police. Now, as well as doing that, he also puts a message on the terrorist that he's killed that says "Ho ho ho, now I have a machine gun," which is absolutely fantastic. It's been a Christmas jumper one for me for a while. I've just not got round to buying it. So he calls for the police. Police officer Al Powell arrives. Forgive me, I forgot the name of Al Powell's actor. It's a strange name. I'll put it in a link to his IMDb page in the comments. In the description. So yeah, Powell arrives. He's met by the terrorists who are pretending to be security at the front. The terrorists then the terrorists basically say it was a false alarm. They're having some construction work done, and it set the alarm off. So Powell goes away happy. Begins to set off. Willis sees him leaving and throws another terrorist that he's killed body out of the window. The body comes crashing down onto Powell's car. leading him to sort of back up and crash into a ditch. From the power calls in SWAT team. SWAT bring the big guns, the heavy tank artillery. They're then met with anti-tank missiles. This all kind of is building towards a finale. There is some cool ad-lib scenes in between. There's a point where Holly Gennaro McLean's character, who is Bonnie Bedelia, her character's colleague, I can't remember his name. He goes in to sort of kind of negotiate with John, and starts off with the Hans Booby. The puzzled look that you see on the face of Alan Rickman there is actually a puzzled look because it was ad-libbed. Then there's bits on the roof where McLean meets Rickman's character, Gruber. Gruber pretends to be an American and one of the party goers who escapes. You think he's got the twist on Willis, and Willis obviously knows who he is. That a lot of that was ad-libbed in terms of the conversation between the two of them, Rickman's American accent and things like that. Anyway, the film itself is building towards the grand finale that we all know, where we see the demise of Gruber. Other bits that I've listened to, there were quite a lot of either mistakes or chosen choices. The first big one being where Willis's character is trapped and he's going down a lift shaft to get into the vent to crawl through. That bit that you see at the end of the trailer where with the lighter. What's happening there is his stuntman is reaching for a vent and he slips and manages to grab a ledge further down. Now, he was actually supposed to just reach over and grab the vent and climb through, but that slip was kept in the film because they decided it was an excellent shot. Also, the scene for the ending, where you see the terror on Rickman's face, that is actual terror. What they set up to do was, Rickman had said he would do the stunt. It was about 40 foot in the air, and it was to drop backwards onto an airbag. What they said they were doing, they were going to count down from 3, so 3, 2, 1, and on 1 they would let him go. What actually happened was the stunt coordinator said, on 2, when I say 2, just let go of the rope. So they actually dropped Alan Rickman without him knowing, and that fear that you see in Gruber's face is actually real fear. So Die Hard is a sequel of sorts. It was originally there was a film in the 1970s called The Detective. It's based on a novel by Roderick Thorpe. The Detective starred Frank Sinatra. I haven't seen the film, so I'm not 100% sure what it was like. From what I've seen in terms of snippets, it seems like a film noir style, sort of gritty 70s detective film, given the title. From there, Sinatra wanted to do a sequel. He approached Thorpe to write a sequel to the book. Thorpe didn't actually write a true sequel to the book. He changed all of the setting, moved it to Los Angeles, changed it to Christmas Eve, and made it an action book. Now, so it took quite a while for the film to get a script made. I think it was about 10 years. By which point, Sinatra was in his 70s, and but Fox, the studio, were contractually obliged to offer the role to Sinatra. Luckily, Sinatra turned it down, and eventually Willis got it, but Willis was nowhere near the first choice. It was offered to all the top action stars at the time, Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Gibson, Chuck Norris I think was offered it, even Harrison Ford, all of which turned it down. I'm not 100% sure for the reasons for why the rest turned it down, but I know Schwarzenegger turned it down because he wanted to move into comedy, and we got the excellent film Twins. Now, I really love Twins as well. I think it shows the comedy aspects of Schwarzenegger. He's made some semi-decent comedy films, but yeah, it'd have been a strange one. I can only imagine how hard it would have been for them to set it up for Schwarzenegger to crawl through those vents that Willis is crawling through. Now, Willis, as I said, he wasn't a film star. He was a TV star, most famous for starring in Moonlighting with Sybil Shepherd. Now, for me, the film itself, it went through several remakes, rewrites, eventually landing with Stephen D'Souza, who's more of an action comedy style writer. He did 48 Hours, I believe, starring Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy. Landing with D'Souza had to do a raft of rewrites. Now, he was told by Bruce Willis's people that he wasn't to rewrite anything. There was a lot of stuff that Willis was happy with. They eventually had a meeting and they realised that Willis and D'Souza realised that Willis is actually quite a funny guy in terms of his style and his attitude and his quick wit, and D'Souza is actually a funny writer. So from there, a lot of the comedic elements that we see in the film were brought back in by Stephen D'Souza. A couple of other final facts on the film before I give my opinion. McClane's wife, who is played by Bonnie Bedelia, as I say. Bedelia's actual surname is Culkin. She is the aunt to Kieran and Macaulay Culkin. The whole family were actors, and also the building itself, known as Nakatomi Plaza, is actually Fox Plaza, which was owned by the studio at the time and was only partly built. It was occupied between a lot of the middle floors, so they gave the top floors and the lobby to the filming. There was a lot of uproar with the filming because obviously the machine gun noises, the explosions, etc. And like I say, they filmed Die Hard on all those unfinished floors. It was actually Fox charged themselves rent for the building, which was surprising. Although I think it's probably a tax dodge, potentially. I'm not casting aspersions there. And one other final fact or final thought, from memory, the film, when they did a test screening for audiences, a lot of people liked it, but a lot of people, I think it was the trailer, when the trailer came on and Bruce Willis appeared on screen, people were laughing, people were booing. So when they actually released the film, they didn't release any of the posters with Willis on. The posters were all just of the building. Eventually, when it began to gain traction, I think it made something like $70 million worldwide. But when it began to start making a decent amount of money, they recut the posters with Willis front and centre on them, which is generally the cover art that you see now for the DVD. So yeah, those are a few facts, bit of a roundup of it, and bits and pieces that I know about the film. The film itself, I would say, is probably one of the, if not the best 80s action films. It is also, and I challenge anybody to correct me on this, the best Christmas film ever made. Die Hard is a Christmas film. As I said in my Christmas list, it is amazing. So with that, would I recommend people watch it? Hell yeah, I recommend people should watch it. If you've not seen Die Hard, get yourself a copy of it, find it on a streaming site, get it watched. It is amazing. The chemistry that you see between Willis, Bonnie Bedelia is great. The chemistry you see between Willis and Rickman, fantastic. And the chemistry that you see between McClane's as a character and Al Powell at the end is fantastic. You'd think that when they leave the building, McClane was going to reconcile with his wife. The first thing he actually does is actually embrace his Powell, and you can see the bromance boom. Everything is great about it. The cast are fantastic. There's a good collection of smaller supporting cast members. I just recommend anybody who has not seen it, see it, and anybody who has seen it, watch it again. It is brilliant. All that's left for me to do then is thank you for watching. I've been the Ignoring Nerd, and I'll catch you on the next one.